We are at Mount Rainier National Park, and it's hard to believe that I made it through all the months of training and a couple injuries to finally get to this point. We're going to be meeting our group tomorrow at the guide service and then heading out on the peak the next day, and we'll be up on the mountain 3 days total, summiting and coming all the way down that final day. I'm nervous and excited at the same time. There's a few things with my ostomy I'm a little scared about, hoping I have enough time to deal with it on the rest breaks and still have enough time to eat. Also, I want to make sure that I am able to stay hydrated up there. But I know I'll figure out all that stuff when I'm up there. I'm really excited. I'm looking forward to meeting the rest of our team. We're on a pre-trip day hike up above Paradise, and from here you can see part of our route. There's climbers up over my shoulder there on that ridge heading up to Camp Muir, and they're just little dots from here. That'll be us in a couple days. And behind me is the Nisqually Glacier, where there's just tons and tons of ice coming down and forming big crevasses, and it's just awesome. We can finally see the summit poking out above the clouds. It's been hiding all morning.
You just heard ice fall.
Yeah. I can't believe we're going to be up there in a few days. Wow. We just pulled into the guide service and we're about to meet our group. One of the things I always struggle with my ostomy is how much to let other people know about it. But in this case, I think it's important for my group to know we are going to be working pretty closely together. And there's going to be times when I might have to get up in the middle of the night to go take care of it, or when we're roped up on teams. And it will just make me feel better, not to feel like I'm having to hide something. And then there's always the awareness part of it too. I think it's important to spread ostomy awareness. We just wrapped up our meeting and I'm all packed up for our departure tomorrow. I didn't end up mentioning my ostomy exactly in the meeting. I did talk about how much climbing Rainier meant to me after having ulcerative colitis and getting my colon removed. But going into the details of an ostomy just felt like a little too much at the time. My ostomy is a big part of my life and I love talking about it and sharing awareness. But at the same time, it is a small part of who I am. There are days that go by that I don't even think much about my ostomy. So I struggle with sometimes making it too much of a focus. So I think talking to people on the trail and in camp as it comes up will be a good balance. We loaded up this morning and we're heading out. We're going to be up at Camp Muir tonight after 4.5 miles and 4,500 feet of elevation gain. The group's behind me, we're getting packed up, ready to go.
Got your sunscreen on?
Dude, lots. A couple layers. We had a great hike up to Camp Muir today. The pace felt great. We have been training a lot, so I think that made it more easy and enjoyable. The pace that the guides kept was actually a little slower than what we normally do. As far as my ostomy, that was pretty easy because it was very quiet today, so I actually didn't have to deal with it at all on the way up. I just waited till I got to Camp Muir to swap out a pouch. That's not always the case. Sometimes it's more active, so I just go with it. One highlight today is that we ran into Phil Urschler on the trail, and he's a climbing guide that runs International Mountain Guides, and he also has Crohn's disease. And I had written him before the climb just about the route and asking him if he thought I could do it, and he was really encouraging. So it was really great to run into him and talk to him today and introduce myself in person, and that was definitely a highlight. So tomorrow we have a sort of a skills day and a shorter hiking day, and then we'll get to our high camp, and then the final day is the summit. But so far things are going amazing. Welcome to Ingram Flats.
3,000 feet to the summit.
Home sweet home for the evening. We made it up to the high camp on the Ingram Glacier. This morning we did some skills. I learned how to self-arrest and practiced rope work, some glacier travel skills. And now we're just resting. It's kind of interesting being on a guided climb, because you get to camp and then the guides go and cook some dinner and you just get to hang out and relax, which is not something that I'm used to. Doug and I usually get to camp and get ready to work on all the camp chores. But it feels great to be so high up here, and it's gorgeous with all the crevasses, and we're ready for the ascent tomorrow, hopefully, if the weather cooperates. Hydration's been really important on the climb, so I'm drinking a lot, and I'm carrying a little extra water than the other participants just because of the ostomy and the fact that I dehydrate a little more quickly. Yesterday in particular, it was really hot on the climb up the Muir snowfield, so I drank a lot of water. I actually ran out right before camp, but that was okay because there was water waiting for us when we got there. Dealing with my ostomy today has been really easy. We spent most of the morning down at Camp Muir, and located there is a big barrel for climbers to deposit their blue bags. Once they get beyond that point on the route, everyone has to dispose of their waste in a bag. There's no pit toilets up here. You have to pack it out. So the climbers go in these. I, on the other hand, just have my ostomy pouches, so I can just take them off like I always do with the closed-end pouches. And I just deposit those in that same barrel that they deposit these in. So it's been really easy down there. I haven't had to pack anything out with me. I will now that I'm up here. I'll have to pack them into my pack on the rest of the route until we get back down there to throw them in the barrel.
What we all do, in fact.
Everybody does, exactly. In fact, I think it's it's almost a little easier for me in some ways, because I just have to lower my waistband and pop off my closed-in pouch, pop on a new one, and it's really quite easy. Though it's going to be tricky up there when I'm on rope teams, but I'll deal with that when I get there. We're in a wee bit of a storm. Oh, like a major one. Just finished dinner and we had to cut it short a little bit because we were starting to hear flash boom thunder. So we're hunkering down in our tents, hoping that this clears up before our summit attempt tomorrow morning.
How much snow have we gotten?
It's like at least an inch, maybe two. Grapple-like snow. It's coming down. Happen.
Okay, the forecast is not good.
Yeah, it's only changed from that day.
Yeah, see what happens.
We've emerged from the tent. The first round of storms is through, but it looks like there might be another coming. This one dumped 2 to 3 inches of gravel, which is pretty impressive. But it's gorgeous out here, and you can see Little Tahoma behind me. And there's a fresh dusting of snow on it, which is cool. And we're actually heading to bed. It's almost 6 o'clock, but since we have to get up around midnight, we're gonna go to bed early.
You get a hug. Yay! What do you think of that? The crater. It's cool. It's really cool.
Awesome.
It's really cool that there's new snow here. It's just like beautiful and pristine. It's a rare thing.
We made it to the summit, and everything went great. It was a little hard with some fresh, deep grapple.
Let's take this shot and then we're...
Made it. We have to get out of here fast because a storm cloud is coming. But the ascent went great, and I did have to deal with my ostomy once on a pretty steep slope that we took a rest break on. But I just stepped like 20 feet away from people and turned my back and took care of it and packed it up, and it was great. So everything went awesome, and I'm so happy to be up here. Yay! We made it all the way back. Yay! We're at Paradise, and it's still sinking in that I actually made it to the top of Mount Rainier after all that hard work. We've been up for 16 hours, so we're all really tired. But we're gonna head to town and get something to eat. Yeah, I'm speechless. I'm pretty excited and happy that this all became a reality.
We did it!
Yay!
Made it to the top of Rainier!
It's our last day in the park, so we came up to Paradise, and it's been fun watching the other climbers get ready to head out on their adventures and thinking that just a few days ago that was us. And it feels really amazing to have made the summit. There's a certain melancholy to it though too, because it's over. There was so much anticipation with the climb, and we did it. And we weren't able to take a lot of pictures or video on the route because it was such a whirlwind with safety and trying to get through certain terrain in a rapid amount of time. So I had to commit it all to memory and just cherish those. Dealing with my ostomy up there wasn't as difficult as I thought it was going to be. There were a few moments that were hard. I had to, as I said earlier, change on a pretty steep slope not far from the group. But I had an amazing lead guide who was a doctor, and she made it really comfortable, and she knew a bit about ostomies. And at one point she said, everybody has to poop, you just do it a little differently. And she just had a great attitude and made the whole thing a lot easier. Now it's just thinking about what's next. I don't know. But I do know that whatever I dream up for the next adventure, I won't be letting my ostomy get in the way. I'm gonna still go for it.